What? Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Today, our group are gonna talk to you about the rules of the cross-cultural communication in business negotiation. Let me tell you about our group member first. So, our group members include Hasimran Singh, Karanjot Singh, Dajinder Singh, Shubham Saraf, and Lemon Tran. We have 17 rules in total, and each of us are gonna introduce to you several rules in turns specifically. The first rules about explanation is gonna be presented by Shubha.
So, hey everyone. So, today I'm going to talk about the rules and the regulations and what actually is the rules. So, I'm going to start from the first rule, which is explanation. So, talking about what actually is the explanation. So, explanation is the talk between the two groups, two business parties, or any parties which we can say gives the example of the pure explanation between each other. So first is it is required skills of the partners that speak different languages, and the second is explanation approach should be planned ahead of the meeting, have translator or technology support if the person does not or can't understand the like the foreign language. He can use the translator or the technology, but the main motive should be it should be understandable by the both parties. And the third one would be make sure that every point is mutually understood so that it is completely understandable by the both parties. And so talking about the next slide, what if the rule is not followed properly? So if the explanation is not made properly or the understood by any other party, so there would be a conflict between each other, and as a result there would be the miscommunication and the disagreement between the two business parties. And another one would be the failure in the closing the deal. So if we are making any business deals or the future deals, it's going to be shut up or the close because of the misunderstanding or the explanations. So moving on to the another slide. So second rule would be the shift the focus lightly. So talking about what the shift, actually this rule explain is the partner should focus off the pain area where they are not like strengthful or the weak in their errors, we can say, and they can start putting the focus lights on the other deals where they can shift their focus on and work on together with the partnership and sort out kind of good results or the outcome from that stuff. And what if the rule is not followed properly? So as I told you, there would be a conflict between the rules followed, and if the rules is not followed, conflict would be arousal. And three major conflict with this rule, if it's not followed, would be forever and discussion. So there would be no arising discussion in the future. And second would be the time consuming, and the third one and the last one would be the cost lost focus on other benefits. In order to gain a benefit, we can't gain the benefit if there is the complete closure of the deal. So moving on to the another slide, the rule number 3, do not take it personally. So talk about like the two talks between the parties. Let's say giving example of mine and talking with another party. So yeah, someone there is like the different way of explaining for every person. Someone way is like the harsh way, someone explains the soft, but they do not do it intentionally because they are used to it. That's what I'm going to throw some light on it. So first one would be, don't take the issue or the other person behavior personally. It can really break the deals between the business deal or any deal between the cross communication factors as well. And second one would be the focus on the task at the hand. And the last one would be the close the deal while agreeing and respecting both parties involved. And moving on to the another slide, what if the rule is not followed properly? So as every rule leaves us on the dark side. So there is 2 points which can be happen if this rule is not followed properly. So first one would be the distract from the real issues, and the second one would be the get diverted to what is irrelevant at that point. So that was the three rules. And next my friend Harsimran gonna explain rule number 4. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Shubham, for passing me the slides. So today I'm gonna speak about the rules which are needs to be done properly. So the first rule is speak slowly and clearly. In common words, which basically means explain the topic, the anything which we are doing slowly and clearly in a conversation, so the other person can understand it. Because what happens sometimes we are in a group and some people talk really fast, some people talk really slow, and this can cause too many problems. Moving toward the second slide, which is what if the rule is not followed. We all know that if we don't speak slowly and clearly, the other person would not be able to understand it, what we have said, and can cause conflicts and can cause misunderstanding. Because we all know that we have different way of speaking. Some people speak way fast, some people speak normally. Moving towards the next slide, which is keep your word concise and straightforward, which basically means concise is small, straightforward words. You have to use small words and concise words, and it should be straightforward so the other person can understand what you are trying to convey to him. Moving towards the next slide, it is what if rule is not followed properly. If we use too many words to explain any topic or anything or any business plan to the person whom we are meeting in a, it can be a presentation or somewhere what, but then the people would not invest in your brand because we will be using too many big topics, we will be using too many words to make the other team understand. Moving towards the next rule, which is do not use technical jargons. Basically, it means not to use professional words that are not understandable by another person from different field. So, in common words, we can give an example like I'm from the culinary field and I know those technical jargons, and the other person whom gonna met for a business deal, he's from sales line, so he knows those sales terms, and I know the technical jargon from the culinary line. It uh, it will create mess if I use technical jargons like the culinary words or those big technical jargon from culinary in a business meet, cause he won't be able to understand it. And right now I will pass the slide to Tejinder. He will be speaking on the next slide.
Thank you, Sunny. So, rule number seven: ask questions. Like, ask question to clarify the meaning and offer chances for negotiation to do the same, or ask question lead people in the direction like that have nothing to do with where they through they are going. Like, it is important to ask questions because it helps to uncover the challenges you are facing and generate better solution to solve the problem. Like, or it can clear the doubt of the person by asking various questions. Like, and moreover, asking questions in a top like a person is discussing, like it is a method of learning and living, because by asking questions the person can, it is a day-to-day practice. So what if we not follow the rules properly? Like, there is a lack of core skills, like importance of misunderstanding frequently. Like, lack of the skills in the gathering information is not gathered, like, and not be able to use precious questioning techniques to elect the information required. Next rule: remain attentive and listen to understand. Like, be attentive and relax, because like what we can say to be attentive is like be present, give attention, apply or direct yourself, or pay attention. uh, it helps to, like, I think like it helps to build relations and solve problem and ensure understanding. And moreover, a person don't have to make an direct eye contact with that person. Like, it can be distract the other person as well. So a little eye contact is, I think, important for to make a better communication to and to remain attentive. So don't get distracted by your own thoughts and feelings. Uh, like like mentally, like the distractions or the background noise or any other distraction can distract the attention of a person, and it may avoid to better understanding of the listening and the cross communication in the negotiations. So what if we don't follow the rules properly? Like it may lead to the poor listening skills, and it may lead to the assumptions and misunderstanding, as I've discussed before, and it lead to the errors in effective decisions, costly mistakes, and deteriorates and weaken cross communication. Like in the many work environment or any business negotiations, like these are the very serious issues a person can face, like if they not follow the rules properly. And the last rule of mine, like rule number 9, show respect for the different cultures. Like cultures may differences can make the process even challenging. Like we have to ensure outgoing but met at the same time. Like there are few rules, like few skills which can succeed in global settings, such as punctuality, formality, emotions, and negotiation style. If I talk about punctuality, like for example in US, timing is everything. Like if you walk into a meeting or an interview, like you are 1 minute past the starting time, like we can say like you have already started off on the wrong foot and may remain into the conflict. And about the formality, along those same lines, some culture favor an informal negotiation over a formal negotiation. And in this situation, the negotiation will invite small talk to the first to get to know about the person properly. And if I talk about the emotions, like emotions also play a crucial role in showing respect for the cultural differences in business negotiation. Like in some countries, showing emotions during negotiation is acceptable, which in other participant may remain stoic. And the last point, negotiation style. Like every culture have different negotiation style, like or the negotiation behavior. Like most of the people tend to favor a win negotiation. Like however, in some culture, confrontational and a win loss negotiation style is preferred. Like these are some rules like which we need to show respect for the cultural differences. So if we don't follow these rules, like it will the rules the it will not show the respect. Can be going on a homework by conducting a research of a culture of the person we are going to have a communication. Secondly, the person uses word to impress, such as pick up words or phrases or negotiated native language which can be offensive. Like 2 to 3 words are genuine to include in our communication, but using the phrases or any pickup words can be very offensive to the another person. And it will show that a person is trying hard to make a good impression, and it will not help in building relationship between me and the another culture. And there will be a lack of business and communication skills in the furthermore discussions. So next, Karanjot is going to discuss about the another rules. Thank you.
Thank you so much, DJ. So I'm gonna talk about the rule number 10, active listening. So the first point is from this rule is pay attention. So in the business negotiation, always pay attention when the speaker is saying that he talks with the full of confidence. And if you pay attention to someone, it definitely means you are watching them, listening them, and you understand the whole thing. What he or she is saying at your workplace and anywhere else. So the next point is body language and movement. So we should always use the body language and movement of our body when someone is talking with us. For example, if someone is talking with us, we can move our head up and down, so he or she can understand that we are listening them. And the last point is give feedback. Feedback is very important way to practice active listening in business negotiation. After the speaker ends his conversation, we can give some feedback about his talk. So they can understand we are listening the all of his talk. So if this rule is not followed properly, so it's definitely mean that we are disrespecting and demotivating the speaker, and maybe speaker feel embarrassed and after seeing our ignorance behavior on that time. Apart from that, we can also miss the information, main information of the speaker, and sometimes we listen only half thing, and we thought that that speaker is saying the wrong thing because we miss the main idea of his talk when he or she is talking about something important thing. So move to the next rule number 11. So rule number 11 is avoid slangs. So always use simple words. Not everyone knows about your slangs, right? At your workplace and other places. So always use your simple words. So the next person who is listening, you can understand easily what you are trying to say, and avoid hidden words. Hidden words can ruin the whole sentence. Meaning, so avoid the hidden words most of the time is a good idea. And the last one is use minimize definition and place the whole words and sentence carefully. Don't speak the whole definitions if or sentences. If you are talking with someone, just use the short sentences show so that they can understand everything easily in a profound way. So if this rule is not followed properly, it would be a distract and annoy the listeners on that place if we are not following this rule. And because not all people are aware from different kind of slang from the other perspective, so it's very bad idea to use the slangs while someone talking with us. And it will also erode the listener's confidence for sure. It may erode the because sometimes when the speaker is saying something, it if the slangs are used, the listener thinks he is saying something bad for them and for their like for their families. So and that's why sometimes listeners understand the wrong meaning, and listeners feel disrespectful on that time because speaker is saying using the slangs. So never ever use the slangs while conversation and business negotiation. And the rule number 12 is be careful with the humor. So never crack a joke on someone's religion, gender, disability, and family, because these all things are very sensitive in everyone's life. So and no one like to take joke on these things especially. And so always respect these areas while talking with someone else. And if this rule is not followed properly, it will hurt someone's feelings for sure, and in back they will trying to hurt yourself as well as they can harm your family because if they feel disrespect. And apart from that, they can also try to wear you down. They can also try to more bad words for your religion, so they can express their feelings about their religion or family with hurt yours the next person. And the rule number 13 is write things down and record the meetings. It will, if you will write things down, it will be helpful for you to motivate yourself, and you can recognize and process your emotions easily. And it will enables you to think more easier, and you can easily focus on the actions. Apart from that, visual effects are more useful than the writing things down. So whenever you will get chance by learning something new and different, and in your regular learning, you should always try to record videos for your future preference, because video can impact hard on mind when negotiating, and it will be helpful for you. And if this rule is not used properly, then it may be we can forget what actually negotiate. After that we will get the bad results, and back it enables you to think minimum level of the less ideas because you forgot all the main ideas while talking. But if you never write down the things down, you can miss the main information for sure. More than that, it will be make someone make some conflicts in future, because we only remember little things when we only listen someone. However, if we write things down properly, we can use that information in our future preference. So always try to uh, try to take notes down. It will be helpful for you. And the next rules are discussed by the lemon term. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. That was awesome. I'm going to discuss to you about rule number 14, which is keeping it simple. So this rule is basically answering the questions whether or not you should use big words. So what is big words? Big words mean like academic words, academic phrases, and technical words as well. So the answer is absolutely not. Instead of saying please do this in an efficacious manner, just simply say please do this quickly. Then the person who are listening to your message, they can catch your idea right away and they know what to do next. If the rule is not followed properly, which means when you will use big words when you are negotiating the business with the other people, that means so little. So when you are using big words, it's not really showing off that you are educated or you are in a higher level to the person that you are negotiating with. It's just showing that you are so mean. And the rule number 15 is taking turns to talk. Imagine if you are sitting in a meeting while people are just trying to talk, not listening, how will you feel? So it's just a very simple rule that after you finish your part, just try to keep silent and listen to the other ones. And because English is as a second language for you, and it's also the second language for your partner, you are coming from the different countries and you have to empathize and understand about each other's situations. You may not understand that, and you may need to really carefully listen to the message before you take the turn from the other ones. And the what can happen if the rules will not be followed properly? Obviously, it's gonna cost you a lot of time, and at the same time, it's gonna cost you a lot of like money as well. In business, time is money, and if you are taking more time on like talking to each other instead of listening clearly, getting the ideas and finish the deal, it's gonna cost you a lot more time instead of saving your time. Drill number 16 is avoiding closed questions. It was wrongly understood that using the yes and no questions are better. However, in the business negotiations, we really need to get some informative response by asking open-ended questions. Yes and no questions are not really answering what you really need to know. However, open-ended questions will give people a chance to really to explain about what they want to convey, and you'll get a more informative information. If the rule is not followed properly, in many countries, the cultures in many cultures it is very difficult and embarrassing to answer in a negative way. So instead of saying no, they are gonna still saying yes, but actually they mean no. And just imagine when you are dealing on a term that people really don't disagreeing with you, but they are just saying yes because they just want to be polite, is not gonna be a really like make sense deal, right? Rule number 7 is going to be the last rule in our rule list. That is the maintaining etiquette. So it's just basically researching the target culture before you start the negotiation with your partners. So if the partner is from Japan, you may need a cross-culture training of the Japan culture. If the partner is coming from Australia, you need to know a little bit more about the greeting cultures of Australia. For example, as you can see on the screen, Western names have a different rule with Chinese name. Instead of putting the last name in the last, Chinese people putting the last name in the first. So be really careful when you call a person by their last name or their first name. And in Japanese in Japanese rule, they really want to add sen after the name to show off the politeness. When you are negotiating the business with the Japanese, you have to know this rule. If the rule is not followed properly, you may misunderstanding about a message and you may showing the disrespectful attitude to them, and the atmosphere of the negotiation is going to be so weird because you are not giving a positive impression to the partners, and the conversation after all is going to be so weird. If you are giving respect, you are gonna getting respect. If you are not, you are not gonna get it. So that is just basic rules. That is the 17 rules as we introduced to you today. So be careful and keep in mind those rules when you are starting the business negotiations with the partners who are from the different country. Thank you so much for your listening.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.